Days of Our Lives. Johnny fights for his name as Tesoro's future hangs in the balance. Days of Our Lives spoilers for next week reveal that Salem will be filled with tension, heartbreak, and controversial accusations, especially for Johnny DiMera. Viewers know Johnny has been trying to build a life with his wife, Chanel, and adopt baby Tesoro so they can finally start their family. But instead of receiving the joy they've been waiting for, Johnny finds himself trapped in a storm of lies, jealousy, and manipulation. The drama begins when Sophia, Tesoro's biological mother, takes drastic action to prevent Johnny and Chanel from adopting the little boy. Instead of simply voicing her concerns, Sophia escalates her opposition and files an anonymous complaint against Johnny, raising strong objections to the adoption. To make matters worse, Sophia has no intention of stopping there. She's determined to stir up trouble and has decided to attack Johnny's reputation in the most cruel way possible. Sophia sets a trap for Johnny. In an unexpected twist, Sophia sets up Johnny to make him look like a man he's not. Days viewers will watch her cunningly manipulate events so that Johnny becomes linked to something scandalous. Sophia arranges for it to appear as though Holly Jonas sent Johnny a seductive photo of herself wearing pajamas late at night. The so-called evidence makes Johnny look guilty of entertaining inappropriate attention from another woman, even though he has no interest or involvement in the matter at all. For longtime fans of the show, this kind of setup is classic Salem chaos. Lies mixed with truth, secrets slowly unraveling, and reputations hanging by a thread. Johnny himself quickly realizes he's being framed, and while he may not yet be able to prove Sophia is the one behind it, he knows deep down that things aren't adding up. The text message was suspiciously timed, just minutes after the fire that Holly was caught up in, which makes it highly unlikely Holly could have sent anything at that moment. Johnny battles to clear his name. Even though it won't take Johnny long to prove his innocence in this case, being cleared of one false accusation doesn't necessarily mean all of his problems will vanish. The adoption of Tesoro remains under jeopardy because Sophia has planted seeds of doubt with those who hold the power to approve or deny the process. Though Johnny may prove that Holly was not involved in sending him any questionable photos, the damage to his reputation and to his image as a trustworthy adoptive parent could linger. This places a heavy weight on Johnny and Chanel's marriage. Married life in Salem is rarely smooth, but the couple now faces one of their biggest challenges yet, balancing their dreams of becoming parents with the cruel manipulations of an outsider who wants to destroy them. Even if Johnny clears his name entirely, the constant attacks could leave Chanel questioning if their adoption hopes are being sabotaged for good. Holly steps into the fire. A surprising twist in this storyline may come when Holly herself joins forces with Johnny. After all, she knows she never meant to send any seductive photos, and she has every reason to expose the truth before her name is dragged further through the mud. Will Holly and Johnny begin working together to uncover Sophia's deception? If the two start sharing information, Salem could be headed toward an explosive showdown where every lie is revealed and every hidden agenda comes to light. This potential alliance might even raise eyebrows in Salem, since working together so closely could make people gossip about Johnny and Holly's relationship. But for now, their main focus remains on tracking exactly how Sophia managed to orchestrate such a damaging scheme. Days veterans know that when two determined people unite for the truth, secrets don't stay buried for long. The bigger mystery, Tesoro's paternity. As all this chaos unfolds, an even larger bombshell is brewing that could change the course of Tesoro's life forever. Brady Black recently offered a DNA sample from Tate to help establish a biological link to Tesoro. The results, however, revealed something shocking. There was no match. If Tate isn't Tesoro's half-brother, then who is the baby's true father? Two names have suddenly entered the picture. Arron Green might emerge as a possible candidate for fatherhood, but there's also reason to suspect that Melinda Trask has once again inserted herself into Salem's biggest scandals. Could Melinda have tampered with the DNA results to cover something up or bend the situation to her advantage? Viewers know she's never been afraid to bend or even break the rules when it suits her. What comes next in Salem? With Johnny fighting to clear his name, Chanel struggling with disappointment, Sophia spinning her web of lies, and a paternity mystery threatening to upend everything. Days of Our Lives is setting the stage for explosive drama. Every character involved stands at the edge of a major revelation, and Salem's future will never be quite the same after these secrets come out. For older fans who have followed the longtime saga of the DeMoras, the Hortons, and the Bradys, this storyline feels like a reminder of what defines Days of Our Lives. Passionate love tested by betrayal, family bonds stretched by lies, and the constant hope for a brighter tomorrow, even when the storms are fierce. One thing is certain: Johnny won't give up. He is determined to protect his marriage, prove his innocence, and fight for little Tesoro. But with enemies like Sophia working in the shadows and mysteries swirling around Tesoro's birth father, Salem is about to face another week of emotional earthquakes. Stay tuned, because the truth has a way of coming out in Salem, but it never arrives quietly. Part 2. Days of Our Lives, The Rinse, October 1st. The problem with Sophia's plan. Soap operas thrive on twists, betrayals, and dramatic revelations. But even by Salem's standards, the events of the October 1st episode of Days of Our Lives raised more questions than answers, especially when it comes to Sophia's supposedly flawless plan to block Chanel and Johnny from adopting baby Tesoro. On the surface, her scheme seems clever. A poisoned letter, a damaging photo, and the perfect timing to sabotage the young couple's hopes of parenthood. But when you take a closer look, there are holes in this story large enough to drive a truck through. Let's slow down, piece things together, and ask the questions many viewers may already be wondering. Does this plan really make sense? Or is Sophia setting herself up for an even bigger fall? The letter that changed everything. For Chanel, Raven Bowens, and Johnny, Carson Boatman, the day began with cautious optimism. They were preparing to make their case as potential adoptive parents for Tesoro, the little baby left at a Salem fire station weeks earlier. Both were nervous, but they believed their love, stability, and determination to give Tesoro a safe home would shine through. When the social workers, including Jillian, Erica Kreutz, arrived earlier than expected, it threw the couple off balance. Like many viewers watching, one could see how vulnerable they felt in that moment. First impressions matter, and in adoption cases, they matter a great deal. Chanel did her best to welcome them, offering pastries from her bakery, and for a brief moment, it seemed like things were turning in their favor. Jillian smiled. She was charmed. Everything felt hopeful. And then came the turn. From her file, Jillian pulled out a letter. A letter supposedly written by Tesoro's biological mother. In it, the mother objected strongly to Chanel and Johnny as prospective parents. She not only expressed her disapproval but also included damning accusations about Johnny's personal life. Suddenly, the air of optimism evaporated. The social workers grew cold, professional, and distant. Chanel and Johnny's dream was crumbling right in front of them. But as dramatic as that moment was, one question lingered. How could anyone be sure this letter was authentic? The mystery of the letter writer. In the world of Salem, secrets have a way of surfacing, and lies rarely remain hidden forever. Still, what struck many viewers as strange was how quickly everyone accepted the letter at face value. If the claim was that the letter came from Tesoro's birth mother, shouldn't there have been some kind of verification? After all, this woman is essentially a stranger to everyone in Salem. She left her baby at a fire station, anonymously. The press covered Tesoro's abandonment extensively, including articles in the Salem Spectator. The details were public knowledge. Anyone who read a newspaper or gossiped at the town square could have known enough to write a convincing letter. So where was the detail that only the real mother would know? A special phrase, a memory, a mark on the child's blanket. Anything that would prove her identity. Viewers waited for that reveal, but it never came. And that's the first major crack in Sophia's plan. A poisoned letter may shock the room, but without solid proof, it's flimsy evidence at best. The convenient accusations. The letter didn't stop at objecting to the adoption. It went further, much further, by attacking Johnny personally. The writer claimed to know about Johnny's inappropriate relationship with a student, specifically Holly, Ashley Puzimis. According to the letter, they had seen sexually explicit text messages exchanged between the two. Now, here's the problem with that claim. How many people would actually know about those texts? That detail doesn't come from a newspaper article or neighborhood gossip. It comes from someone who had direct access to Johnny's classroom or his students. And who might that be? Let's remember the roster. Johnny is teaching one class. Among his students are both Holly, the supposed other party in these messages, and Sophia, Rachel Boyd. Sophia, who very recently gave birth to a child around the same age as Tesoro. Sophia, who would have both motive and opportunity to interfere in the adoption. When you look at it that way, the suspect list suddenly grows very short. And if viewers at home can piece this together in minutes, how long will it take the DeMaras or the social workers to start asking the same questions? The problem of appearance. Soap operas often weave subtle clues into the story, and sometimes those clues are impossible to ignore. One detail that caught attention was Tesoro's heritage. He is clearly of Asian descent. And in Salem, there are only a handful of Asian families. Sophia is one of them. It doesn't take a detective to put two and two together. A baby abandoned at a fire station. A young woman in Johnny's class who just had a baby. The physical resemblance between Tesoro and Sophia's own heritage. Isn't Sophia worried that people will begin connecting the dots? Her plan may have bought her a temporary victory, but it seems incredibly risky. The more she pushes Chanel and Johnny out of the picture, the more scrutiny she invites onto herself. Kayla's revelation. Of course, Salem has its share of medical experts, and Dr. Kayla Brady, Mary Beth Evans, has already played a role in this storyline. Recently, she confirmed that Tesoro's DNA does not match Tate's, Leo Howard, ruling him out as the baby's father. On the surface, that may seem like good news for Sophia, one less complication in her already messy situation. But it also leaves another question wide open. If not Tate, then who is Tesoro's father? And how long until the truth comes out? DNA tests have a way of unraveling even the most carefully constructed lies. Sophia may feel secure for now, but Salem has a way of shining a light where people least want it. The long game. Sophia's plan worked in the short term. Chanel and Johnny's adoption dreams were derailed, at least for now. The letter, the photo, and the shock value of it all gave Sophia exactly what she wanted. Control of the narrative. But viewers know better than to believe a story ends there. Soap operas are built on the long game, and the cracks in Sophia's plan are already visible. The authenticity of the letter is shaky. The accusations against Johnny are too specific to be random. The resemblance between Sophia and Tesoro will not go unnoticed forever. Sooner or later, someone will pull the thread that unravels the entire scheme. And when they do, the fallout for Sophia could be devastating. Chanel and Johnny may have lost a battle, but the war for Tesoro's future is far from over. Final thoughts. The October 1st episode of Days of Our Lives delivered high drama, heartbreak, and plenty of questions. Sophia's plan to sabotage Chanel and Johnny was effective in the moment, but it may be the kind of victory that collapses under its own weight. For longtime fans of Salem's tangled web of secrets, this storyline offers everything they crave. Mystery, betrayal, and the looming promise of truth. The question now isn't whether Sophia's plan will unravel. It's how spectacularly it will blow up in her face when it does.